G'day guys, welcome back to another season of Sailing Popao. This year has thrown everything at us to try and stop us cruising, including this thing behind us.
So stay tuned and check out how we fix this big old hole behind us. After hauling out last episode to find a small oyster farm on the bottom, it was time to rip into the boatwork and bring Popao back to her former glory. Servicing the edges today, a big afternoon after hauling out. We got stuck into the sanding. This needs to get sanded off and I'll smooth these edges, feather them out a bit. Michael will tackle the transducer that we need to refiberglass.
Transducer we put in all those years ago, relaminating a little bit. Luckily we chose hardwood.
One more job which has probably been added to the list, which is taking our bottom boot stripe off. It's just perishing and I am going to service the engines. We got absolutely hammered by midges last night. For some reason they just got through the net. Pretty tired today, not gonna lie. So not a great start for day 2. But anyway, here goes. Pretty easy task today, not very physical. Anyway, let's get stuck into it. Remember what I said before about today being a pretty easy task? Deja vu all over again. Well, it turned out that our lower leg had fused into the power head yet again. And here we were, banging it like crazy, trying to get it out. We tried to use a bunch of builder's blocks again, of varying sizes. They just kept snapping off. Remember how gentle we were the first time doing this? We were like, tap, 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 oh, it's bad for the transom. So we were back to banging the hell out of it. There were a few smashed fingers. Oh, fuck, are you serious? Move, that side. Some broken engine parts. Come to, we snapped this off. And a lot of cursing. We ended up finding a spot at the top of the spindle that we could squeeze in a bit of penetrant spray. So we decided to let that marinate for a few days while we got stuck into our growing list of things to do. Well, I'm not surprised the other one won't come out. Look at the state of this. There's a scallop, baby scallop in there. And we lift these all the time and they didn't sit in the water. Look at that. It's like a little baby scallop. Well, decided to stop filming today because we just wanted to get stuff done and get back in the water ASAP, and we were going to just do a whole lot of time lapses. However, we were going to repaint this front section of the boat because all the mooring balls that smash in have chipped the paint and then worked water in behind the paint. And as you can see behind me, a lot of the paint's come off. It was nowhere near as bad as that, but I started gurning it. I started to gurney the boat and just to see how much paint would come out. And I noticed a crack and I pointed it out to Michael. And he has just started to rip open the rot.
It's not too bad.
Not too bad?
I think it's just a little bit of water probably seeped in from when we washed the boat down that little crack maybe. I don't know. It's like pretty hard around it.
So it was very obvious. It was very obvious when we started tapping, wasn't it?
Peter Snell, he said the 3/8 ring spanner, I've got a 19mm, it's the best tone for finding soft spots. Yeah, listen. That's pretty good. It's not too bad.
Oh well, good to catch it now so we don't have a hole in the boat. How much is your opinion on rot change now?
What do you mean? It's just...
Well, we used to freak out like, oh my god, there's rot on the boat.
Cut it out. It's like weed in your garden. I don't even have a garden. No problem.
Got the big boys out now. Are you still as confident as you were at the start?
Yeah.
It's nothing. It's nothing.
Just a bit of timber.
It's grown rapidly.
Yeah, so I've been chatting to other fellow Easy owners on the group.
Who were builders?
And yeah, all the builders, which is good because I'm just a humble spear fisherman. So they weren't really worried about the crack because it wasn't really running like parallel with any of the bulkheads. So it was like an impact kind of crack, they reckon. And,
so it hit something.
And they said that the fiberglass repair and epoxy repair is going to be way stronger than the timber, which is true. So I just chased the crack out. I've opened it up. I've left about, I don't know, what's that? That's like 90 mil of overlap to glass 2 on the hull. I'm just going to saturate this with epoxy first because this grain will just soak up all the epoxy in the layers, and you don't want that drawing the resin out of the glass. So you want to make sure this is well and truly saturated. So I'm just giving it a clean with acetone now to prep it, make sure it's nice and clean, no contaminants. And then, yeah, we're just going to go hard. Jesse's going to be mix master. I'm going to be the layer proto man. All right.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Another tip for things you must have on your boat is a big thick piece of plastic. We just bought this off the roll at Bunnings. So we've just turned our dinner table into a workbench without worrying about getting epoxy on it. And also these clamps a must have on the boat.
Well, you're just going to be mixing and then soaking those pieces.
Mm-hmm.
The larger bits will roll into a sausage, like Peter said.
Yep.
And then we can just unroll it. We'll soak it in the container and then just unroll it up there.
Mm-hmm.
But the smaller ones, you just hand them to me. Move the table like right there.
Mm-hmm. Michael just spoke to Peter Snell, who's the designer of the Easy Catamaran. It's pretty funny. There's not many builders that you can call on a Sunday. What did Peter say?
He said the best thing would be to chase it out, really. And he said that, you know, once you're fixing a hole, it doesn't really matter if it's a small hole or a big hole, you're already committed to the same basic process. But
so we were just about to bite the bullet and start work, and Michael put the spatula between the layer of ply and started to pull it off, so we're just going to sand it back again. Peter Snell advised us it was actually worth to chase it right back until the wood was solid with no separation. While Michael got stuck into that, I finished sanding the hulls, and we also drilled an extra through hull for the new water maker inlet, which would let us make water in rougher conditions.
I also got the anchor winch holes prepped for epoxying for the new winch going in, and got a start on cleaning out our holding tank and hoses.
We've also got this product from Cleanerworks called the Boop Ita. I'm going to wash the bag out with that, give it a bit of a clean, see if I can get it smelling a little bit nicer in here. Had a bit of that boat smell and I hate it, so anyone that lives on a boat, they know what I'm talking about. We haven't had this smell in our boat ever until recently, so which is why we're changing the pipes. Going to clean that area out, see if I can eliminate a bit of that odour. We'll have new through hull fittings, so we're going to put the True Design skin fittings and ball valves in, and all new hoses, and then we don't have to worry about it ever again, probably. So we're taking the toilet out, make it much easier to work in here. Alright, it's getting shitty and gross in here. This is the last pipe to get off. I'm hoping if I'm recording I won't get poo all over myself.
After a bit of boat yoga, it was back to the engine, and we were seriously thinking this might be the end and had already started to inquire about new engines. At this stage we had nothing to lose, so we went to town on the engine leg to try to get it out. Michael found this big strap that we could put around the leg that allowed us to put all our body weight onto it. It was a bit awkward, as you can see, but it sort of worked. After a few sets of intense leg workouts, it finally dropped, and much to our relief, without any damage from what we could see.
Alright, we got it out in one piece. We were worried that that had welded itself to the...
So I don't know,
power
is that just jammed in there with rust or something?
Not sure. But if you've ever wondered what your engines would look like if you don't get to wash them for 2 years, that is your answer. Not by choice, that's just what happens on a boat.
With no time to waste, I got the legs serviced and ready to put straight back in again. Seems crazy, right? But that's boat work 101. Take it apart, clean it, lube it, and put it back together again.
So, this, you may have seen it in a few episodes before, is actually a CPAP cleaner. Michael pinched this off my dad a few years back, and Dad gives him one every now and then, and we use this all the time on the boat. It's the perfect size for our sinks, and it's also the perfect size to fit into the power head and clean all that rust out. So I've just loaded this up with Shift Your Basket and given it a good clean out. As you can see, all the crap on it that's come out. I'm hoping that's going to just improve our chances that it's not going to get stuck again. So, little tip, get yourself a dad with a CPAP machine cleaner.
After a lot of discussions with shipwrights and builders, this is what we ended up doing. We figured this rectangle would make it easy to patch, so using cardboard as a template, we cut out a piece of marine ply, soaked all the ply multiple times until it stopped soaking up. We filled the back of the ply with a huge amount of epoxy bog and slapped it right on up against the bridge deck. Michael put a few screws in to hold it in place and make sure that we didn't have any air bubbles, and then we pushed the props onto it to give it an extra snug fit just in case. Don't forget to put plastic over them so they don't get stuck to your boat like a unicorn.
I think we did a pretty good job. Sounds like it sucked in pretty good there.
Because we put so much force on that starboard engine trying to get the leg out the other day, we're a little bit worried that we damaged something. So we're about to find out if we need to buy new engines. So fingers crossed.
Well, the top's spinning. It's spinning. The prop is spinning. No. Because that was the easy one. This is going to be the real test. The power head's fully engaged, hopefully. Yeah, it's spinning. There's no water coming out. No water coming out. Michael, there's no water coming out. Alright, so Michael's just tied a bit of rope around to hold these muffs on a bit better. That is not the issue. I'm pretty confident. And I've also poked up the little telltale hole. That's where the water's meant to come out. And did have a few little crusty barnacles and stuff. So hopefully that will solve it. Super stoked that we got the engines working and back together yesterday and no issues, so that is a huge win for us. Now all we need to do is get that repair done. We've got the hull sanded, they are ready to be primed and anti-fouled. We're going to polish it before we do that, so we're just really waiting for the repair to be fixed. And in the meantime, we've started some other jobs. Michael pulled the rudders apart yesterday to service
So we've got another half finished job. He keeps pulling the boat apart as I put it back together. So we got a few little jobs, like we're changing through hulls. We had a few fittings that were a bit questionable, so we have knocked those out. We've only got three through hulls, or fourth now, because we put a new one in for the water maker a little bit further below the waterline. But yeah, we're going to put them all, change them all to true design. So we'll have plastic fittings, plastic ball valves, except for the water maker. That's a bronze fitting. I'm not going to talk about that. And that's also got a ball valve as well, plastic ball valve, so they don't corrode. That's the big benefit of those. I'll show you our ball valve shortly. They actually had quite a lot of corrosion along the edge of the ball valve. So if you own a boat, something worth checking and seeing, just keeping an eye on, making sure you grease them every haul out. So I'm down here this morning, and that has gone off. That is great news. That means we can get stuck into the repairs today. Michael's going to sand back the edge, make it feathered out. We're going to put a tape of fiberglass right around the square, and then we'll do a couple of huge sheets over the whole lot to tie it all together, fair it, sand it, paint it, and get back on the water. So excited to get back out there. Yeah, it's been a week. Yesterday we were hoping for a week, but probably going to be 2 weeks, I'm guessing. So anyway, Michael, the epoxy is hard.
Is it?
Yep.
You can't put your nail into it.
I can just put a dent, but it's fine. Like, it's totally fine.
Okay.
That's good. Let's get into it.
Do some sanding. Yeah.
Oh dear, you've glued the prop on. Oh well, we gotta go sailing with it now.
At least we can dry out easier.
Oh. Did you even try moving it?
No. Wow, it was just hanging there.
No, nothing's popped off yet. It's good.
We're going to scallop this out, and then we're going to glass the edges, and then we're going to glass over the whole thing.
We are going to go get some glass now to tie it all in. The one that we had, the piece of glass we have is too small. So we're going to go buy some more now. We had a chat to the shipwright here in the yard, Rob. Thanks, Rob. He gave us a bit of confidence that we needed to get this job done. So we're going to like hot coat it. We're going to just go for gold basically. We're going to wet this up completely, let it go off a little bit so it's tacky, and then once we know that the end grain, which is this stuff, has soaked in as much epoxy as it's going to, then we will lay strips around the edge. So we're going to do like a frame where the joins are. We will then roll a whole big sheet. We'll put it on dry because it is what, 300 what weight?
Grain.
300 grain of fiberglass.
Grain? Is it grain? 300 gram cloth.
Gram, that's it. 300 gram cloth over the whole lot, which will unroll. It's easy to handle. So we're going to go over to the shop now. We're going to cut it in the shop because they have a big table. It's going to be way easier to do and less likely that we snag it up. And then we'll roll it up onto a tube and go from there. Feeling confident?
Yeah.
Okay,
good.
Let's do it. Let's get up. You get your money's worth out of them.
Yeah, well.
They're midge proof. So this is what's called the end grain here. It's just where it's open, exposed layers, so it can suck in a lot of epoxy. So we're going to start wetting that up, and basically you don't want it to dry out because once you put the glass on it, then sucks the epoxy out of that end grain. So you really ideally want everything really wet, really like soaking up the epoxy. So we're going to put a couple of layers on. If it's still dry, we'll keep putting layers of epoxy on until we're happy, and then we'll put the glass on. So yeah, anything to add? Is that right? Is that a good explanation?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
Michael, many words, Takash.
I got a mask on.
Good job. Guess you learnt your lesson from not wearing your mask the other day.
Oh no.
You had a migraine all night and the next day. Okay. Good morning.
Eel pie coming off.
Day after the job. This is the most satisfying part. I love it. Hopefully.
I peel it off and the whole pie just comes off.
I had lots of nightmares last night, I have to be honest.
Oh, it's so nice.
So we just had Rob, the resident fiberglass layer, is that what you're calling? For Townsville Boatyard?
He said, yeah, no, it looks like you did a good job. Just give it a light 80 grit sand, just take off the high spots and then log it up. Amazing.
So what does the peel ply do?
So it soaks up all the excess resin, and it also takes that kind of epoxy waxy blush that comes out when it cures. So you can actually just paint or glass straight onto that because it leaves like this little micro kind of texture in there. But we're going to sand it anyway just to flatten it out. Start fairing.
After trimming off the excess fiberglass and sanding the rough edges, it was time for more bog.
We've done about 10 to 12.
10 boggings at least.
10 boggings, sandings, and we're pretty much done. We're just doing the final touch up now to get little holes and stuff. It's a little bit lumpy, but you know, it's the underside of the shoes. I keep saying to Michael, why are we polishing the bottom of the shoe?
Well, otherwise,
We'll be here forever.
perfect is the enemy of good. So we'll just end up being here for like another, I reckon, 2 or 3 days, you know,
Yeah.
like, so it's going to be like thousands and thousands of dollars in the end just to fix one little crack. So it looks good to the eye, and that's good enough for me. If someone wants to put a ruler up to it and say, oh, it's a mil short here or whatever, I don't know.
Anyway.
I'd love to do it, but I also love to not be broke.
Yes, that's okay. So anyway, we are going to smash this out. We're about to do all the basic stuff, anti-foul. We're about to just touch up the bridge deck where we've lost a bit of paint previously. We've done all this before, so we're just going to chuck a couple of time lapses in, get it done, and we're hopefully going to splash in a couple of days. It's public holiday today, so we're hoping that when they get back in, we can book for the following day to go back in. So it's all happening. We're going to smash through this, and we're going to see you when we are going back in the water. What are you fucking weekend at Brownies?
So we got stuck into it, and first job was touching up the bridge deck where some of the paint had come off previously. We also got the first coat of primer paint on the hulls because we'd lost so much anti-foul. We decided to re-prime it and put our anti-foul straight on top of that. After a heap of sanding, we finally got our first coat of paint on the bridge deck where we repaired it, and it was a bit of a disaster.
Thoughts on the chipping process?
Terrible. Absolute balls up.
It's embarrassing. Can we just put something up to
After all
hide
that
the boat?
sanding and like prepping and making it look nice, just F it up like that. This is very disappointing.
Yeah, we're back to the drawing board, and we're gonna
man.
watch a million YouTube videos over lunch.
While we waited for the first coat of paint to dry, we thought we'd get our first coat of anti-foul on. And with the timing, it actually worked that our second coat was due at 2 a.m. because we were going back in the water tomorrow.
We're out of battery torch power. It's midnight, and we're about to put our last layer of anti-foul on. And we're going to put it on in the morning, but we did the maths this afternoon and realised that it needs to go on tonight.
We realised we're terrible at maths.
we are under the pump. We're probably on like our 18th hour. We've lost the plot. Michael's delirious.
I'm fine. Fully functional.
He is not
functional. We just painted this. We had leftover paint. We were running around the boat like crazy people trying to find anything to paint.
See, what do you do with it? You threw it in the bin.
And Michael looks at me at one stage and he goes, I know if we can paint the kitchen floor. That's the worst idea ever, because it takes like 24 hours to cure and there's shit everywhere. He thinks he's fully functioning. He's totally delirious.
What am I going to do for light? Just leave me alone. Paint fumes are burning my eyes and my brain.
The final roll for the evening.
What time is it?
2:15.
Wouldn't recommend rolling black antifoul onto black antifoul at night. It's almost impossible to see where you've been painting, especially in the tropics where it dries in like 10 seconds. Is stuff hard to see, Michael?
Oh yeah. Doesn't help when you've been up since 6 either.
No. Anyway, we're gonna clock off. I'm gonna just clean myself up now and then go have a shower and go to sleep for about 4 hours and probably get up and deal with the next issue, which is the painting this section and the bridge deck. We have this up because it also started to rain just after we mixed the paint. It's like spitting at us, just teasing us more than anything. We'll see you tomorrow, ready for splash day. So I'm not sure if we filmed anything, but we decided to
film this. No one wants to see this shit.
Yes, they do. People want to see this. It's hilarious. Moments from disaster. So we changed all the pipes on our bathroom toilet just to try and get rid of some odor, and they were just getting really old and blocked and stuff. And Michael's cut one of the hoses open, and scale is formed when urine and salt water mixes. So it's not quite poo and it's not quite toilet paper. It's like a, I don't know, what is it, calcium or
Piss
something?
rocks.
Michael calls them piss rocks. That's a scientific name. And he cut the pipe open, and this is the flush to see. So moments from disaster. Aren't you glad we changed that? That would have been a welcome
one
home.
fibrous meal from disaster.
Anyway, we are just sitting here waiting, melting, dying slowly in this heat, waiting to go back in the water. We've got a bit of a mess to clean up. She is a shit fight. So we're just putting the tillers back on. We dropped the rudders to paint an anti-foul and prime. We're just about to put them back on. We did a little bit of painting on this last night at 2 AM. Just unwrapping it and get that all sorted, and we're good to go. So we are on our way back into the water. So we've just been lifted up by the guys. So we're just sitting in the slings at the moment and just running down now to quickly put some vinegar on the bottom where the props were, where the stands were. Big gap. The power's just literally swinging in the wind right now. We've got the water going on board. We've got a load of washing on, utilising the last time we're going to have unlimited water for ages. Michael's just prepping this. I will get the vinegar ready. So excited to be back on anchor very soon. Very soon. Probably get out there and I'll be like, it's so rough. This anchorage sucks.
We've got no water. We don't have a toilet.
we don't have a toilet at the moment. It's actually pulled apart. We'll be back to the roots of a bucket. How's it feel, Michael?
Frantic, as always. Every put back in, it's always like rush. Except this time we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 new through holes.
I feel like Monty Python, you know, the buildings going through the city. Okay, final checks. All the brand new seacocks are closed. Fingers crossed, there's no surprises. We've also got the engine, which we're hoping is, you know, trouble-free. Anyway, let's see. That is weird, flying boat. Checking through hulls.
Good.
Oh my god.
What?
Oh no.
What?
It's fine, it's fine. Feels good, that's a relief. That's $700 for a relift. You really don't want to leak. Those two are good. 2 down, 2 to go. Are you good?
Yeah.
Alright. 1. Got 1 down. Oh, what a dream.
Oh, good.
So easy.
All right.
Thank you. Thanks for everything. Appreciate it. It's been fun. Sort of. See ya. Take care. Now that we're liveaboards again, it's time to check the weather. First thing to do.
Stay in here for a bit. Fuck, that looks nice. Beautiful water.
Choose your
Oh,
cane.
there's a little bit of antifouling.
You can't even see your arms.
Here's the tape.
You are a commercial diver, that's for sure.
So we're back on the water. It's been 2 nights. Michael has already left, so he's gone to go do a big fishing course and left me with the task of cleaning up the boat. It was an absolute mission yesterday. I spent another huge day up until 2 a.m. last night cleaning. The current state of the boat, it's still an absolute mess. But yeah, so good to be back on the water, and the boat is looking pretty good. Thank you for watching. We will see you next episode. We'll have the boat cleaned up, Michael will be back, and we'll be heading to the reef. As always, a huge thank you to our current patrons for your ongoing support. It truly means the world to us. And also to those who have grabbed some merch, thanks for repping Popao. And if you'd like to check out our range, head over to sailingpopao.com.
Jessie's complaining about white on the pants. I said just draw black on the pants, and look at this shit.
Refit life, baby.
Ooh, I should be in the costume department.
Look, you'd never know. Straight off a film set this one, you should be working.
Not bad.
Oh, that's epoxy.
Yeah, it's alright.
No, I won't colour in. It's not porous.
Need to prime it.